speaking in English. They're low proficient students.
Then are you sure they can write better?
They
if
can
they don't
practice.
plagiarize?
They can practice.
If they don't plagiarize, they can practice, they can read, they can research with whatever
And
assignments
rephrase.
Do you think low proficiency student will have the desire to do those things?
Well, they have to. If you don't believe in them, as you are going to be future educators, if you don't believe in them, how are they supposed to believe in themselves of improvising?
What do you think?
It looks like you have a point.
Yasmin, I have to agree with your point, because if they keep on relying on each other, other people.
Why are you agreeing with them?
I think he's just being more convinced now, because it's obvious that it's not
Are
good.
you more convinced?
Let's talk about quality-wise. When you say that these students can rely on other people to do the writing and the presenting, what about later in life when they're working? Do they expect others to do the writing for them? Do they expect others to do the talking for them?
Depending on others.
Okay.
You have low proficiency level. You cannot just learn English in one day, in 1 month.
Yes.
If that's so, why don't they start from an early stage?
That's the problem, because they are already a low proficiency student, and you expect them to write a full thesis, of good English without plagiarizing.
We have facilities that can assist us. You know, we
Do you
have
think so?
lecturers, the library, our friends.
The internet.
Don't you think that all those things are also like you're relying on them and it's not on yourself?
No, but for now, as students, it's okay to rely on assistants.
That's the perfect time to
Yes.
learn.
Okay.
Will they have the time to do the research and to learn
That
everything
is
from
the
the very
process of
beginning?
learning, isn't it? So you're still not gonna disagree with me.
Of course, I think plagiarism is good for those students with low proficiency.
But why?
The whole point of plagiarism is copying and pasting without reading, especially when you get the materials from the internet.
And that's why it's illegal. Let's say in a bigger scope in future, when they say design something, are you going to go to the internet and look for a similar design and copy it? No, that's not how you do it. So it's as well as in English, you can't just do that. You have to have your own ideas, your own creativeness. You can't just simply plagiarize.
We can see from the developed countries itself that they're developed because of their original ideas. It's not because they're copying from others.
Definitely.
So I guess in a science and technology world, we have to come up with original ideas in order to improve our country's development.
But then how are they going to develop these creative ideas if they don't have the language?
They can. That is the
whole
was
point
what
of
I was trying to
plagiarizing.
say. You have assistants. You are students. You have assistants.
But then before
you
you plagiarize, you have to read the topic. You have if you're going to Google it, and then you have to read the topic first before you cut and paste it and paste it in your thesis
you will
work.
be able to
But you'd
understand
be like,
it
oh,
because
I
you are
don't
reading.
have time for this, so you'll be like, oh, I'll just copy it anyway.
No,
And
you
then
have
you won't
and then
edit
you
it.
have the lecturers to read it who will read your thesis.
That's
and then,
what I said. Assistants.
Yeah, and then you have if you
And
plagiarize, you just read it
doesn't
first
mean
before
that
you
don't
take the
have
topic.
the language. You're not creative, you know. Because, okay, for example, if your first language is Malay, you can always think of creative ideas in Malay and then ask assistants like, how do I put this in words in English? You know.
Then that won't be learning English.
Yes, you can learn English.
No.
You can ask for assistance.
Okay,
then.
for example, if you just write it in Malay and then you ask someone to translate it in English,
No,
then
I'm not
No,
saying
it's not
write it in
translating.
Malay. I'm just saying you have the ideas, but you don't know how. So you can just simply say it in your own language or ask assistants.
Yeah.
And like, how do I put this in correct, proper, beautiful words in English?
Because when you plagiarize, sometimes the points don't mesh well together.
Yes.
that is when you have to have a creative mind in order to plagiarize well. You have to have a creative mind. You don't have to have the language, but then
Okay.
but then later you will learn the language because you read before you plagiarize.
Fine, whatever.
You have your point and they have their point. One is more on, you should be saying they should rely on themselves and then they should create things, innovations, and it's more on is it legal or illegal? So that's your point. And then we have here, they'll be saying that this is the survival of the fetus. And then if you do not have enough, if you cannot cope with your innovation of language, you have to find ways to enrich your English, and then maybe because you cannot create it, so you have to cooperate. So from both points there, if we're going to say it on the legal side, plagiarism will never be accurate, or it will never be allowed because it's wrong no matter how. But if we follow on the law of survival, there can be a lot of exceptions. So, but I think both discussion has made a very good point, and we can see that we have different view on it, and it's just more on, do you really want to do the right thing, or you just want to survive? So that's all for today. Thank you for the discussion.